In the fourth season of the popular teenage comedy drama about education that we all deserved at our schools, we continue the journey as the students head to their last year. Everything continues from where we left off, or that is what you'd expect going in, but be ready for a whole bunch of surprises, from new school to new characters and a whole new world you are about to explore in this season finale. Entertainment versus education. When you name the title of your show anything with education in it, what do you really expect going in? Is it okay if it's more educational and you have to compromise the entertainment value, anticipating a lot of exposition heavy stuff that might get boring at times, but you do get the education which was promised to you? And if I flip that question, would it be okay if you're going into something education related, but you find the show is focusing more on providing you entertainment and digressing from the education they promised to provide with education that you didn't know you were signing up for? Let me know what you'd be okay with in the comments below. I'm pretty sure any show that finds a fine balance between these two would really do well with audiences. This series was one of the few which was able to do that, for me at least, for the first couple of seasons. Was season 4 successful in that? Well, coming straight to the point, no, at least not for me. Don't get me wrong, season 4 is entertaining as usual, does provide you with education they promised you with, but also starts providing education that I didn't know I signed up for, and that digression is not just a passing shower, but is etched in the essence of season 4. It's not all downhill though. It does work for me at times where I'm genuinely curious to learn about stuff that I'm not aware of, but it really dwells around that area a lot that it kind of takes time away from all the characters and their chemistry that we first fell in love with. That's a short version of it. Feel free to stick around as I discuss in depth what I liked, disliked, and would have loved more in season 4. Timestamps available in the video. This is the review of Sex Education season 4 by Ruby and Otis. Okay, this might be an unpopular opinion, but Otis and Ruby were so good in season 3. Am I the only one here who really liked their chemistry and thought that this is something we should have seriously explored further? I know Maeve and Otis are the end goal, and I was aware of that going into this season, but boy, did they do dirty with Ruby in season 4. She was straight up used by Otis multiple times for his personal benefit, and no one's going to talk about any of that. I know Ruby hated O, and she also had some stake in bringing O's cleaning down, but the number of times Otis ghosted Ruby without explanation, left her hanging when she needed him, that's just wrong on so many levels. I genuinely felt for Ruby. She definitely deserved a proper closure, even though she could come off as mean or rude, but we all saw in season 3, come on, she's not all that bad. And to quote Isaac, no one's all bad, but you know who I think is a bad friend? Otis again, Otis and Eric. Eric is such a good friend. He's always been there to listen to what trouble Otis has put himself in. Be it not replying to Maeve's photo, be it Otis spending the night with Ruby, or going through the trouble of finding Maeve's brother with Dojimo. Eric's been there for Otis. He actually listens to Otis's problems and gives genuine solution. Makes fun of him for sure, like all good friends do, but is always there for him. Otis, on the other hand, never seems to listen what Eric has to say and is always busy explaining what's going on in his life or leaving Eric hanging in the middle of a conversation for Maeve, Ruby, or anything that's important for Otis. This again is a relationship that sounds very toxic. Not really sure at this point. Is Otis even the epitome of what being a good friend is? Not for me. Digressions and Fillers. As I said earlier in the video, season 4 kind of digresses from the topic of sex education and the characters we came to love with topics of inclusivity and being more sensitive to people around us in general. There's nothing wrong with bringing in new characters to a show and their unique take on life. However, that taking over the main plot of the movie really undermines the love you have grown for the show and the characters who you knew as they were. Sex education is a totally different subject than education of inclusivity. Both subjects are very important and a must in our society, but when I'm watching a sex education show, I would want to know more about that stuff, which this season in particular barely does. It slowly digresses to topics on how we can be more sensitive sensitive and empathetic to everyone that seems so generic. And if we do go down that path, the teaching becomes endless and the scope is so huge that many are going to feel lost, as it feels you're watching a completely different show. It even gets worse as we head towards the ending of the show. The message that they're trying to give becomes more exposition heavy and on the nose. There's this one instance, for example, when Aisha, played by Alexandra James, fantastic actress by the way, calls out that she was left behind when the fire alarm goes off as she's deaf and that no one thought of letting her know. That's a very scary and true scenario that could happen, as in emergencies people often think about themselves first. However, the scene where everyone leaves her up and she is stranded in the classroom should have been enough, but the whole way of how it was literally brought up and the scene that follows where everyone starts rambling about how people should be more sensitive towards other people, right intention. However, the message definitely seems loud and literally trying to tell you what they mean instead of showing, and that sums up the issue that I have with season 4. It should have been a continuity from last season, with sexual issues being the top focus and inclusivity being the subtle underlying message that blends in for a perfect season. However, the out and out calling of the wrongdoings weren't really cut out for me. Coming to the main theme of the show, educating people on sex, the issues that were covered in this season were regarding sexual abuses during childhood, how it can affect you in the long run, how it can affect your relationships you have in the future, and how to stand up against sexual abuses or advances that aren't welcome, how it takes time to heal from an unwanted sexual incident and stigma around sexual diseases, and how anxiety over something negative that might happen but hasn't happened yet is also so real. Like I said, these were the real issues, but these were very less in this season and should have been explored more, considering this is what the show was about in the first place. Adam and Michael Crow. Two characters that I would not mind the show digressing its main plot point for is the relationship between Adam and his father Michael. If anyone's story arc throughout these 4 seasons has stood out, it has to be the exemplary performances from Adam and Michael. On one hand, when episodes had filler moments where I wish I could speed up, on the other hand, scenes with these two is something that I wish would go on forever. There was something about them, it was so slow and calm, and I just wanted to be in that room with them, where Michael, a strict headmaster trying so hard to change all his beliefs and let go of his ego to be a changed, loving parent, finally doing something he really loves, like cooking. Adam, from a school bully to someone trying to move on from his first love and handling the pressure of not always being a disappointment to his dad. I might not be the only one who thinks they deserve their own spin-off, and seeing their character develop overcoming challenges over time would be really interesting, awkward and funny at the same time. Otis and Maeve. God, I hated O's character from the start of the show. Maybe it was her confident, nonchalant way of dealing with challenges with a smile on her face that made her such a devilishly good antagonist opposite Otis. She did a really commendable job at being someone you really want to scream at, but as you know more about her, you understand why she is the way she is. It's sure unfortunate though that she didn't really get to meet Maeve. A conversation between them would be definitely something. Otis and Maeve, the endgame. The couple that kept the series going for 4 years. The couple everyone wanted to get together. Finally came together but could not stay together. As much as people wanted them to be together, this is something that I really like. This non-cliche way of keeping them separated at the end of the show. Otis not holding her back but not agreeing to long distance is the hardest but most realistic thing to do. Because deep down a lot of us realize long distance can be hard, testing and really distracting from what you are trying to achieve, because it takes so much time and effort to sustain it. Otis and Maeve did learn a lot individually from each other and from this relationship, and both of them came out as a stronger adult. Maeve finally finding her calling and realizing that one teacher cannot be the gatekeeper on her journey to success and cannot decide what she can or cannot be in the future. And Otis learning to let go of the fear of losing someone he loves, losing the fear of being heartbroken like her mom did, being strong enough to take the decision himself of keeping distance from Maeve and not holding her back and letting her go to the US. That's it. That's the video. That is all I had regarding this show. No matter if you liked season 4 or hated it, no one can deny that sex education was a refreshing addition to all of our lives back in 2019, opening us to the realm of possibilities and education that everyone needs in their life. By the way, are there any colleges or schools that really have so much openness? I really would want to go back to college if this is how college life would look like. There's no education, no one's studying. happening, but there's a lot of drama happening. Let me know in the comments if you think this is something that really happens, and also let me know how you felt about season 4 and the ending in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching the entire video. See you in the next one. Bye.